team through weeks 1 to week 9.
It very well may
Them
be.
or Berg.
It very well may be. When we get back, we've got more scores, more week 9 high school football action around the area. We've got a full look coming at playoffs in week 10. Still to go. The night is young. Keep it right here. This is Total Media's Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From leaky faucets to major repairs and renovations, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch, and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
And we're back. You're listening to Total Media's Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills. We are broadcasting live from the Holzer Health System studio in Jackson this evening, and it feels like everything is right again in the 740 football world. All the pieces of the Football Friday Night crew are back together now, as we are joined in studio by the Sarge, Ethan Sargent, and he is back joining us. Bub, he got to stay on site for the football action for our game of the week.
He did.
Between the Sherman Tanks and the Bearcats. Now, I have a feeling as he settles in here.
Gets his chair the right height.
He's feeling good. Mm-hmm. He's feeling good. I have a feeling this played out a completely different way than that of the Sarge's thoughts based on what he said in pregame. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Sarge, exactly what'd you see, man?
My phone goes bonkers for some reason.
You're a busy man.
It's not. It's
everybody
like
wants to know your thoughts on the game tonight.
Who knows? Well, if I'm being honest, guys, the one word to describe this game, we talked about it with Ironton and with, oh my goodness, We talked about it with Ironton, and we talked about it with Athens, and they did do what I said. I said the word massacre. I want to talk about another massacre. Well, how about Unioto 43, Paint Valley 0? Just a shocker in every sense of the word. And really, and that scoreline is fair, guys. It was a straight up domination. From Unioto. 4 turnovers by Paint Valley, killer.
Can't do that.
Could not happen. Couldn't move the ball really offensively. The one drive where they got into the red zone, turned the ball over.
Yep.
It was a struggle, and really all the offensive weapons. Caden Cutright had 2 interceptions.
Yep. Big one early on.
Yep, the big one early to set them up. They went down the field, scored, made it 7-0. Then Paint Valley's opening drive went like this. The first play was a deflected pass. The second play was
play. By the
it
way.
was a great
good
play. Yeah,
athlete on the
guys
edge
saw.
there.
First play, deflected pass. Second play, run stuff for, I think, a loss. And then third play, an overthrown pass.
It was there.
It was there.
It just
He
sailed.
did have he had what's his name? Bolin in the flat. Oh my God, Giancarlo Stanton just made it 6-2. Sorry. He is. You want to talk about playoff performers? We're going to talk about playoff performers as we go throughout this season. There's a playoff performer. We're going to need a lot more of our guys here in the 740 to start stepping up like Giancarlo Stanton has. But back to this game, he sailed it. He sailed it on Bolin. And again, 6'5" frame. He was probably going for the right to try and get that high point on him. Just a little bit overthrown, and then Caden Cutright right there sitting in the zone. Nearly took it back for another pick 6. But it stuck out the 8. Next play, in goes, I believe it was Bolin, or not Bolin, sorry. What's the running back's name? Braylon, I believe. Cody Braden.
Running like a bell cow, by the way, downhill as soon as he got the ball. I mean, he had a full head of steam, and he did not stop. He is a workhorse in that backfield.
How about the set where Unioto came out 2 wide receivers and then 2 backs beside the quarterback, with Braden behind the quarterback in the pistol, but the 2 backs lined up in 3-point stances, just ready to run down.
We've seen a lot of that this year.
I know we've seen some of that, but to see it in person, Bub, we sat there watching, and you said, "Oh," and I went, "I know." I felt good about it.
I said,
I loved what I saw from Mac. Well, you said something a little different. I loved it. I saw something from Matt Hoops and his squad that made me think that squad is prepared for postseason action. They were massive. By the way, I'm going to say that again. That Unioto squad, every kid on the team was 6'1", 190, 200, and they just looked like athletes,
big
man.
And you could see the movement on the front line too from it.
Yeah,
and I said this on the call. This game was won and lost in the trenches because Unioto just dominated up front.
I mean,
it was men against boys.
Physical.
It was men against boys. They were just absolute beasts up the middle.
I have never seen a bigger discrepancy between 2 8-1 teams on the front line.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. They just, straight from the jump, instant pressure. I don't even know. I lost count of how many TFLs they had. Couple of sacks. They had a strip sack on Fauber that set up a score. It just really, again, like I said, total and utter domination. And, it really ain't that much else to say.
Didn't expect a running clock by halftime.
No, not at all.
I'll say it one last time, and I'll stop harping on it, but I noticed it in pregame. When Unioto trickled in pregame, and I love what Coach Combs said as he was throwing the ball around with Dow. I was like, "Hey, Dow, I think he's got some coaching to do." Say, I'll just sit around and be nervous if I'm not doing this. So awesome football guy there. But they just trickled in, and you just saw, and you're like, okay, there can't be any more of these kids this size come out of that locker room. And there were just more and more, and they can run.
Yeah.
And they can all do good things. Yeah. I was really impressed by Unioto. I'm very happy we got to that football facility tonight because that's a quote unquote basketball school in the area. That's a quote unquote basketball school.
They didn't look like
and
that
a soccer
tonight.
school.
And a soccer school.
Hey, they were
Real
putting up
soccer school
basketball
around
points
the area.
tonight.
Yeah, they were putting up basketball numbers tonight. So, man, by the way, thanks to Coach Combs. Matt Combs gave us a great opportunity to do what we did tonight, man. So, again, thanks to that, Unioto, great football atmosphere.
I will say, I think the biggest, whenever I noticed that Unioto was going to dominate the game wasn't even when they scored the first touchdown. It was before that. It was whenever they were running the ball with the running back so efficiently and still having options open to keep the quarterback running as well. And we saw that on the second drive as he was able to keep the ball on the outside. Or no, I'm sorry, it was on the first drive. It was the very next play, Eric, because you said, oh, there you go with it. So I just want to say they had a lot of options in the running game, even though the running back really dominated.
We said...
You're exactly right. Nailed it, really.
We said two different things. I said two different things. I said on the air, I thought this would be a kind of an 8-point contest.
Yeah.
After kickoff, when we started watching Unioto move around, unfortunately, I had the displeasure of looking at Bub. I said, Bub, this is a shutout tonight. This game in the first quarter, we just finally looked at each other. By the way, Quincy Wilson had an opportunity to speak with Quincy
Wilson.
Wilson.
Always nice to meet up with him.
Rio Grande, University of Rio Grande football head coach. He caught up with us as well. And as we're standing there kind of next to Quincy Wilson, we're talking about this thing, and it just felt like, oh, boy. And then the interception, and then they got the ball back. You just felt it, right?
It's that ball, the proverbial ball just starts rolling, and sometimes there really is nothing you can do to stop it.
Especially on the road.
Yeah, on the road, tough environment. Again, when you're 14-0 down before you can even blink, right? It was 14-0, less than 3 minutes into the ball game, and by the way, they missed Robertson tonight, their starting running back, which we didn't mention that on the show, on the pregame show. We probably should have, but it was something that we didn't really know 100% what that was going to look like. But yeah, he was out tonight, and that's a big loss. He's been their bell cow back.
Yeah.
I talked about it with a few Unioto parents actually after the game, and they kind of said, this game wasn't a contest effectively because of that.
And I will say, even with him on the field, he's not going to make 43 points of difference with the holes that weren't available for the running game in Paint Valley. As good of a player as he is, at least they didn't just throw him on the field and let him get more injured or anything like that. Take a week, you still got playoffs coming up for the Bearcats.
Absolutely. And I mean, yeah, you just got to bounce back, lick your wounds. You know the conference now is likely out of reach. Tough game next week, too, against Zane Trace.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
is no easy game.
They got to go back and play Zane Trace the following. And them Pioneers right now, they're looking good.
Yeah, they are looking good. I believe they got a win tonight.
They did.
So, again, we'll have to keep an eye on how Zane Trace does throughout the rest of the night.
40-16 against Southeastern tonight.
So, I mean, we've seen some of these scores. There are some shockers. There are some shockers around our area. We're going to talk a lot about some of these games because there were some scores. When I checked at halftime, I was like, who's beating who? We're going to have
to check at the end of them.
Yeah,
Waverly was a shocker. Waverly was a shocker. Falling to Northwest tonight, 50-40.
Oh my goodness,
90 points. That's not even
that
the
is
highest
only the
points put up
fourth.
tonight.
That is only the fourth time ever that Northwest has beaten Waverly. 4 times ever. Added to that list, a famous night.
Waverly had a shot like that last week.
Eastern by 1 over South Gallia by 1 point.
Ethan, were you able to manage to catch the end of that game?
They had to have gone for 2 at the end.
So you hit it perfectly on the head.
Yeah.
Eastern Beaver made a late game push.
Chance. They make the last move.
They were down 12-7. They made a drive with 5 minutes left to come back and score from an Eric Manley pass to the pylon. I couldn't get the name of the receiver at the time, but it was a great play, and they did get the win. So you hit the nail right on the head there.
We were
hyping you up earlier about
it. I'm glad we nailed that. I'm glad. Tri-Valley beat Sheridan in a tight one, 21-9. I'm just scrolling through here. I'm sure you guys have already gone through most of these scores.
Meigs took down Wellston 20-6.
Yeah, that was one that I kind of raised my eyebrows at a little bit. That's a tough one for Wellston. That probably knocks them out of the playoff contention in Region 19 and might give Meigs an outside shot at potentially making it. They'd have to probably win a game or two, or probably win their last game. Warren over Fort Fry. That's a big upset.
Yeah, what the heck happened there?
All of a sudden, the Twin State League is right up for grabs again.
I will say Tice Beersley did go out of that game. Warren was up 7-6, and then they just exploded in the second half.
Wow. So, yeah, Northwest with that win over Waverly, 50-40. Incredible win for that program. Wheelersburg took care of business. Scrolling through my list. Harvest Prep lost to LaSalle. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was seeing score updates for that game.
Interesting. I mean, that's a tough opponent. LaSalle's a good team. Amanda Clear Creek lost. Uniota won't love that. In terms of those L2 points, Fairfield Union takes them down. Again, I said this on the broadcast as well. I think if Uniota gets Amanda again, they would beat them. I feel pretty confident about that.
After seeing Unioto tonight,
Yeah.
Listen, like I said, real glad we got to see that team.
Mhm.
They looked phenomenal. Great way to be playing football this time of year, if you ask me.
Yeah, total agreement there. That is a dang good team.
Zane Trace won 48-12 tonight. I said
Okay.
40-16. That was my bad. 48-12.
48-12 is the win there. I'm going to have to go through here and update my sheet during probably the next commercial break.
Nelsonville, York, knocking
Big win.
off Vinton County in a big fashion, 39-12. Vinton County's season kind of effectively-ish.
Yeah, I
over,
mean,
other
especially with
than-
Wellston losing
Other
tonight.
than, hey, that don't make any difference.
Well, for
Vinton County
playoff
still
hopes.
can't
I
stand
was-
Wellston,
Yeah.
and they play each other
I was
next
saying
week.
for playoff points.
Vinton County still can't stand Wellston, and they play each other next week. Who cares about playoffs?
I mean, that's fair.
I mean, and then with the one game we haven't talked about, I'm sure you guys talked about it. Miami Trace losing to Chillicothe.
We haven't really talked about it as much, but we did mention it.
That's a shocker. That's
I'd love to hear your thoughts on
that's
it,
a
Ethan.
1-7 Chillicothe school. That, I mean, I was talking to a friend of the show, Grant Kiefer, who is a pretty frequent FAC reporter, and he said, so they lost Guthrie last week during the Jackson game. I know we talked about that, and that's a Division I talent. That's a kid who's going to be playing extensively at the next level. And allegedly, he didn't play much tonight, if at all. So, again, that's a lineman. Like, again, and yes, that is a difference maker, but that's a lineman still. You'd expect guys like the quarterback and the running back. They've got so much talent on that team. They should still be winning that game, with Robinette and with the talent they have at the skill positions, and they don't get it done. That's a tough one.
I agree with you, Ethan. I think it's easier to mask having an injury on the offensive line because it's a 5-man unit. So when you do have an injury like that, you're only losing 20%. But in the backfield, if you lose a quarterback or a running back, they usually have 50% of the touches in the backfield, especially around this area. So it's just a bigger loss if you do lose a skill position. So I do agree with you. You do have expectations to fill that void in the offensive line.
And I mean, I'm kind of scrolling through. I'm playing catch up a little bit here as
I'll round off the SVC for you.
go
How
ahead.
about that?
Go ahead.
Piketon took down Adina 40-16.
Mm-hmm.
Westfall did get the win against Huntington Ross in a tight one, 34-31. The Mustangs get the victory. Southeastern falls to Zane Trace 48-12, and the Unioto 43-0 shutout against Paint Valley. We've already talked about that one.
Yeah. And I don't know if Eric, if we have some guys lined up for tonight. I don't know if we talk to anybody. We can get some guys lined up for sure.
I mean, we know football guys.
We got guys that like football lined
Ethan's
up.
got guys that like football.
Yeah.
We got guys that like football. Let's make something
I was
happen.
going to say, I don't know if we want to talk to the general tonight. He might
always
be.
talk
I need to know what happened in
at this
Tiger
point,
Town.
Maybe a loss to the Mohawks. The only thing I can do to separate him and Bub at this point, Ethan.
Yeah,
because it sounds like I'm going to have to separate him and Bub. So
It would be
we may.
important. We might
That
be
is
worth
one of the
shooting
more-
a text to the general, see if Jeff Davis wants to join us, and he might not be in the happiest mood.
Don't Google the general. You get car insurance phone calls for days.
But yeah, definitely keep an eye. We'd love to hear what happens in that. I'm thrilled to hear about that game.
There's been 103 points put up in the Rock Hill Chesapeake game so far.
Is that game still going?
It is 60-43 right now. Rock Hill is up.
40-43.
Talk about basketball scores.
Yeah, that is a basketball score. No kidding. Defense optional on that one. As we still wait on some of these finals to roll.
Wahama did take down South Harrison in a big way, 50-14.
Ooh, yeah, 50-14. So yeah, they beat up on them. And
the real question is, how many rushing yards do they have in the matchup?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I would guess over 200.
Or how much did they average per carry? Because that team is insane, averaging over 11 yards per carry.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. And again, I think we're still waiting on a few different ones to come through. But
yeah, there's still a few scores we're waiting on around the area, making our rounds. Again, it's a little tougher for us when these games end early. I mean, there's a lot of football to be caught up on in the 7-4-0, so we're bringing them to you as we get them.
Valley wasn't able to take down Grandview Heights. I think, Ethan, we were talking about the second half push.
Yeah.
Or Valley just running out of gas. They ended up falling in that matchup.
I think we might have the general here on the line. Hold on. Let's see if we get him here. Do we have the general, Jeff Davis, on the line?
Yeah, barely. I got a pulse.
Well,
tough.
he's there. And, Jeff, this is a tough one to stomach. Break it down a little bit for us.
Hey, I'm just glad I didn't talk Bubba into doing anything silly tonight. Of course, I think you guys all took us in a close one. I was a little disappointed you didn't have any more confidence in us, but after I watched a couple series, I knew you guys knew what you were talking about. I mean, it was very similar to the West game a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they lined up in the wing tee and just road graded us. I mean, they really did. They had some nice kids up front. They blocked well. They ran the ball well, and they did not turn the ball over. You know, we were able to do what we wanted offensively. The problem is, so were they. They were 0 for 0 passing, and I don't recall
Not
a game that I've called that, especially a winning team,
Yeah.
not throwing a pass the entire game. So, you know, the Tigers finally made a stop. It was 43-40 with about 2.5 minutes to go deep in Tiger territory. They make a big stop on 4th and 2, get a first down, and then complete another pass for a first down. And the tight end took a big hit right on the football, fumbled, and Northwest got on it and finished the Tigers. Listen, if you would have told me that Waverly was going to get beat on the road to the Mohawks and Miami Trace was going to lose to Chillicothe, what would the odds have been on such a call tonight?
Oof, they would have been high. They would have been high. They would have been.
Those are both
significant
both
plus
surprising.
money.
Hey, a quick shout out to Coach Tomlinson and the Eastern Eagles pulling one out against South Gaia tonight.
Yeah, great comeback.
Late touchdown, I hear, to win it 13-12.
Yeah,
the
you nailed
flaw
it.
is the law, is what they say out there on the East End.
You're exactly right, and that's what happened. So, I guess for Waverly now, where do they go next? Back-to-back losses.
A lot of points given up in the last two games.
How do you respond next week?
Well, the first thing we got to do is deal with maybe the best team on our schedule in Week 10 in Mount Healthy. You know, all they did was score 62 tonight.
Oh, was that it?
The good news is they gave up 40.
All right.
So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But the Tigers got to get through it healthy. Play on words there, right? But, you know, things look like even if the Tigers don't win next week, there's still a playoff spot for them at 5-5. And something that did not cross my mind until on the way home, Mr. Snodgrass mentioned it. If the Tigers drop in the perfect spot in this region, they could travel to Uniola for a first-round game.
Wow, that'd be fun.
Which was a really good matchup. I mean, favorable for the Tigers comparatively speaking, with the top of the region. But, boy, I don't know. We're going to have to wrap our heads around this one for tonight and put it to bed quickly.
Yeah, no, and you're exactly right. You gotta brush these sort of losses off. And again, like you said, that's a Mount Healthy team that's really good. That's won a lot of games this year. That is going to probably win a couple more potentially in the playoffs. So a great test for this team potentially, as you said, right before what could be a really tough playoffs. And again, I think when you look towards the playoffs, Jeff, how do you see Waverly potentially shifting the mindset and maybe shifting their play style when you get into these sort of games?
Well, the one thing that may work to Waverly's advantage, you know, they are very explosive offensively, and they give challenges to just about anyone they play in the defensive backfield because of all those receivers running around and an experienced quarterback. And teams who don't line up in wing T double tight, who maybe like to throw it, the Tigers could defend that better. So, you know, it's all about matchups. So that's really what, you know, the coaching staff's got to sell. We got to get better. You know, 9 years in a row in the playoffs, they've been there. It's a different level of football, and, you know, they got to put this one to bed and get ready, baby.
Yeah. and absolutely. So what do you hope for the Waverly Tigers next week to be the biggest improvement on the defensive side?
I'm going to try not to be a smart aleck with my head.
No, you're fine.
You have to find a way to make someone else other than those running backs really between the tackles beat you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. It comes down to tackling. The Tigers did not tackle well tonight. We hit their backs near the line of scrimmage, and we just could not get them to the ground. So I think that's really the focus, tackle better.
Yeah, but man, it seems like that's something you don't want to be teaching week 9, especially when you're trying to get players healthy for the playoffs.
I think you're begging more than teaching. But
yeah,
hey,
okay.
Listen, I want to give one tidbit. If you're not busy tomorrow, I will be putting on a clinic at the Waverly Alumni baseball game at approximately 11 a.m. at Tigertown tomorrow.
Oh, heck yeah. We're ready
We
for
love
that.
some Waverly baseball. We love us some
All right,
Waverly
Ben.
baseball.
Hey, it's good talking to you, and I'll talk to you next week no matter what. If I call tonight, I'll always call.
Oh, hey, we appreciate you as always, Jeff. Get home
Yes, we
safe
do.
and have a good one.
All right. Hey, Bubba, you're still my favorite.
Hey, heck yeah, let's go.
Night.
wow.
Have a good one.
Have a good one, Jeff. Oh, man, always a pleasure to hear from the General. We're going to take our first break of the
Well, I
evening.
was right about Berg.
When we come back, lots more to break down. Hopefully, we'll have a few more scores by then. You're listening to Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville, right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change, or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Studios, taking local healthcare to the next level. We are Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station. Q Rock 105 WXTQ Athens. USA, a total media station.
It's time for General Mills Football Friday Night. Brought to you by Adventure Pro Outdoors, Coad, General Mills, Higgins Steel Roofing, Holzer, Jackson County Health Department Search Program, Necco Forest Care, Red Wolf Inn, Rocky Boots, Suicide Prevention, and brought to you locally by Austin Powder, Mammy's Country Kitchen, McFadden Insurance, Nick Station, Rick's Tire and Auto, Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, and Rogers Plumbing and more. Now, to recap all of tonight's high school football action from across Southern Ohio, here's Eric and Bub Landrum.
What's going on, everyone? Football Friday Nights presented by General Mills. Live in the studio, Ethan Sargent, Eric and Bub Landrum. Lots to talk about. I've got about half of my scores filled in. I'm playing catch up here, so I'm trying to get some of these other scores into my sheet. I got about half of them in during that commercial break. Guys, we talked about some of these upsets, but what do you think is the best performance tonight? Watch score watching and from the little tidbits you've heard here and there, who do you think performed the best tonight?
Man, that's a really good question. I gotta go with Warren, and I have not picked the games with Warren very well this year. I haven't been able to put my thumb on them. They were able to take down Fort Fry in a big way. I know Tice Beardsley went out early in the game, but it seemed like Warren from start to finish up 7-6 and then just popping off with a 76-yard run in there as well to go up 14-6. Warren just dominated from start to finish, and I did not expect that from the Warriors. This is one of my biggest upsets of the night. I had Warren winning this by 16, I had Warren losing by 17. They ended up winning by 22. 39-point difference for me. That's a tough one to swallow.
That's a big time difference. Eric, what about you?
As far as teams that just performed well, I like Nelsonville, man. Nelsonville, York, 39-12 at Vinton County. Vinton County had their backs against the wall with a realistic shot at getting into the playoffs with a win against Nelsonville, York tonight, and with a win next week against Wellston. I thought Vinton County would come out and give a better performance than this. Nothing against Vinton County. It just feels like Nelsonville, York is just improving, and they are ready, it feels, for the Athens Bulldogs next week.
Big test.
Can they slow them down?
It seemed like Vinton County was going to have a better game than what Wellston had against Nelsonville, York. But Nelsonville, York actually beat Vinton County by a bigger spread.
And that's one of the things we talked about on the pregame show was what would Vinton County have to do to make you feel better about their odds heading into next week against Wellston. This is kind of what I expected here. I had Nelsonville by 8 or Nelsonville York by 18. They win the game by 17. It's right up the alley of where I was thinking this game goes. Now you are set for a broken, bloody, beaten backyard brawl next week in Wellston between Vinton County and the Golden Rockets. I'm excited for that contest.
Yeah, both teams are coming off a loss. That should be a good one.
I love rivalries late in the year, and I don't care if there's playoffs, conferences, any of that stuff. Forget all that. These two schools can't stand each other. And I love high school football where schools can't stand each other. You'll get one of those in week Tennessee at Jones Field.
Yep.
Yeah, another great rivalry coming up next week, and we're gonna talk playoffs a little bit later on tonight. Hopefully, we hear from a few more people in and around the area. Maybe we'll talk to Daniel Bernard out of Athens. I know it's always easy to talk to him, get some Athens. Maybe get a breakdown of them before their big one next week. Battle for the Don Kramer Trophy, the Doc Kramer Trophy between the Athens Bulldogs and the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. Athens wrestling the trophy back last year. I don't know. That's gonna be interesting. That's a tough game to pick. It's a tough game to pick. I'm gonna go with. We mentioned the TVC. I'm gonna go with Megs.
I was looking at them.
A nice, impressive win for them. They go up to what do they go up to on the year? They go up to 4-5 on the year. Probably give themselves an outside chance at the playoff. They probably still won't make it, but
got Alexander next week. There's a chance.
They're probably gonna need. They'll win that game, and they'll probably need some help on the outside from some of those other schools around us.
I'm so sorry.
We're struck with an epiphany, it sounded.
Yeah, I did. Because we're talking about schools in and out of playoffs, and I'm just kind of looking through regions here. Can I bring up a team that this makes no sense about?
Let's do it.
Sitting at 22 in D3, Region 12 coming into tonight, was Chillicothe. Hillsboro lost this evening at 21. Goshen, I believe, is going to go down to Western Brown. I don't have a final on that. Western Brown's going to win. So that is now all the way up to 19. Could Chillicothe be just outside this playoff picture? Could they actually find themselves
They might be
in the 16 right now?
Oh, my goodness. That would be something to start a season. We'd have to go and dig through a record.
That's only jumping 5 spots. That's only jumping 5 spots when 2 schools in front of you lost.
And you're getting a win against a 6-win
and
team.
a win against a 6-win team. That's a huge win.
In your region.
I don't know. Keep an eye on Chillicothe. That's crazy to think about.
That Jackson game means a lot to the Cavaliers next week and the Ironmen.
That brings up another point that I wish our Football Friday Night pregame show could last 11 hours. That way I could talk to you guys about all the football I want to talk to you guys about.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. 16-team playoffs. Ethan brought up a great point. People loved that or hated it when it came out. The traditionalists that, back in my day, I made the playoffs. There was 4 teams. Okay, that's great. But now I kind of like the 16-team playoff picture. And if worst case scenario, the second round is the new first round. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I kind of like the 16-team playoff picture. I didn't think I would at first. It grew on me. I love extra football. I love it.
I enjoy extra football.
I love it.
But what I enjoy more is games meaning a lot more throughout the season. I personally was a huge fan of the 8-team playoff. I guess I'll be the old dude that does say back in my day that had 8.
We've seen a 15 knock off a 2. I don't know that we've seen a 16-1. Have we seen a 16-1 yet?
No, I think we have in the state. I think it's like 1 or 2 ever.
Yeah.
Man.
As far as regionally,
but we've seen a 15-2.
Yeah.
I'll take those. You know what I mean? Like, all I need is 1 or 2 times in some of these crazy games, and it's worth it to me.
It feels like, I don't know. To me, it feels like just basketball or baseball at that point. You just kind of get in.
If you have a problem with extra football, I would challenge you not to participate in week 1 of the high school football playoffs then. If it's that bad, don't go. I'm just kidding. Everyone's going, dude. It's free high school football.
Yeah,
of course we're going.
It's part of my job too. I gotta show.
Oh yeah, it's part of my job. Okay, part of the job. It is part of the job. We got the greatest job in the world.
No, I'm never going to complain about
corner,
more
though.
football, but I always did like the prestige of having to. It seemed like earning your way more into
the playoffs. You want prestige? Get to Canton.
Yeah, well, a team that is going to pretty much demand getting to Canton is Ironton. They took care of business tonight against Gallia Academy, 49-10. They were up big. They probably brought the backups in, and Gallia got a couple of points. So Gallia drops to 0-9. Coach Nathan Metler still looking for win number 1, and they'll have to try and get it next week, or they'll have to wait until next year to get it. And it's tough. they had a lot of turnover. 14 seniors left the program, and they were talented.
And your numbers were already low at that point.
The numbers were low. I don't envy the job that Coach Metler's had to do, and I think he's done a decent job with what he's got. And again, the record won't speak, but he's got him going every week, which is not an easy thing to do.
If he can get a win against South Point next week, I think that speaks a lot to what that coach can do for that program going into next season. Keeping his teams focused through all 10 weeks when the season's not going right for you in the slightest bit, I think that'll speak a lot to Gallia, what they do next week against South Point.
Yeah, well, let's take one more quick break. When we come back, plenty more to talk about here on Football Friday Nights, Week 9. About a week from right now, we'll be talking playoff matchups. I don't know about you guys. I'm thrilled. There are going to be some amazing matchups. We might even look at some potential playoff matchups a little bit later on in this show. That was something I did want to do at some point tonight. We should have time to do that. Well, once again, thanks so much for tuning in and listening to Football Friday Nights. We'll take a break. When we come back, plenty more from the Holzer Health Studios here in Jackson.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From leaky faucets to major repairs and renovations, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at rogersplumbingandmore.com.
Calling all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get two free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Back in the Holzer Health Studios, it's Football Friday Night, presented by General Mills. Ethan Sargent, Eric Bub Landrum. Only waiting on a couple of scores. Eastern of Belpre, Federal Hocking, and Madonna out of West Virginia. I believe we are pretty much updated otherwise. So I guess for those of you who are just joining us, maybe once we get through all the other stations, we'll run through the scores here real quick. We'll start with our radio games. Waterford in a nail-biter over Trimble, 14-6. The Wildcats win against the Tomcats. Over on WATH, Athens dominate River Valley 58-0. On WMPO, WYPC, Megs over Wellston 20-6. Ironton on YBG took down Galley Academy 49-10 at the Tank. Over on WYVK, Wahama continue their offensive dominance 50-14 over South Harrison. Over on WKAV, Jackson pitched a shutout against Hillsborough 49-0. Over on WYRO, Nelsonville York beats Vinton County 39-12. Over on WCJO, Portsmouth West defeat Oak Hill 57-13. Over on XIZ, Northwest with one of the shockers of the night. There were a few, but this was one of them. Over Waverly, 50-40, only the fourth win ever in the Mohawks' history over the Waverly Tigers. Over on XZQ, Piketon beat Adena to move to 6-3 on the year. And over on XIC, Eastern Beaver in a nail-biter in the last couple minutes, taking the lead over South Gallia, 13-12. Then going into our conference games in the TVC, Logan Elm defeats Alexander, 41-zip. That's the only TVC score we have. We're still waiting on a few more. Chillicothe in the FAC with another shocker. The 1-7 Cavaliers moved to 2-7 with a win over Miami Trace, reeling bad after last week's Jackson loss. Trace now drop another one in a row. Chillicothe 28, Miami Trace 25. Washington Courthouse won 3 in a row. They win 43-19 over McLean. Westfall defeat Huntington 34-31. That was a nail biter. This one wasn't in the SVC. Unioto over Paint Valley, huge, 43-0. That was our game of the week, and the Shermans left no doubt in that one. Zane Trace over Southeastern, 48-12. In the SOC, Wheelersburg over Minford, 54-0. Grandview Heights ended up just being too much for Valley in the end, 49-27. Green, this was on Thursday, by the way. Green took out Sodaville East, 21-12. Portsmouth Notre Dame over Sims Valley, 26-22. Tight matchup there in the SOC 1. Rock Hill, 60. Chesapeake, 49. How about points in that game? You get a whole bunch of them there. Fairland, 36. Coal Grove, 8. Portsmouth, 41. South Point, 0. In the Twin State League, Warren with a big upset over Fort Fry, 28-6. And then Marietta, 24. Point Pleasant, 3. So Fort Fry and then Tri-Valley beat Sheridan 21-9. Fort Fry beat Marietta last week, correct?
Yeah.
And then Point Pleasant beat Warren last week, correct?
Yeah.
So everybody now sits on a win in the Twin State League.
It's
what
chaos.
The heck is going on? We have ourselves a mess in the Twin State.
I mean, there's going to be a tie next week, right? Like, there's going to be a 2-way tie. Unless there's a tiebreaker scenario head-to-head.
There's going to be something. There's going to be a mess.
Something's got to give in
There's
that
going to be a
conference.
mess. And I don't know what's going to happen, but something is definitely going to go down next week. I believe I'll have to take a look here. I'll just scroll down. Oh, yeah. Point Pleasant goes to Fort Fry, and then Marietta goes to Warren. So,
yeah,
I don't know what the tie breaks are going to be. It could get wacky. Everybody's going to be either 2-1 or 1-2, and it's just going to come down, I think, to who will have gotten the head-to-heads over who.
And that's the chaos of a 4-team conference.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan, I will update you on a couple of those scores. Federal Hawking did fall 42-0. And then also the Eastern Eagles versus Belpre game. Eastern Megs won 55-13.
All right, so Eastern, couple of wins in a row after dropping a couple in a row. But fortunately for them, because of the Waterford win, I believe
Waterford has clinched. Unless even if they drop to Belpre, they still got the head-to-head against Eastern Megs. So, yeah, they have clinched.
I've got our final score of the evening, at least on my docket here. Western Brown takes down Goshen 42-7.
42-7? Western Brown showing up with some good defense tonight.
There you go.
That's not the way I expected them to take down Goshen, especially after Goshen had a great win on the season earlier on.
True.
Yeah, and Western Brown get back in the win column in a big way after dropping, what was it? They hadn't won since week 3.
5 straight.
Yeah, they had lost 5 straight games. And now, now they are looking to try and bounce back. And they do bounce back in a big way tonight.
I believe, do they have Clinton Massey next week?
Oh, boy. Well, there might.
So.
Yeah, I might.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Yeah, Clinton Massey is a scary team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Bub with the hot take of the night.
Hey, listen, I've got some hot takes on this slate that haven't worked out. That one's got to land.
Hey, we gotta make sure what we did get correct here hits home.
I gave Alexander the benefit of the doubt to put up a score tonight, and
I told you not to do that.
Alexander, the streak of shutouts or be shut out, it's insane.
8 of 9 games.
Yeah,
shut out or be shut out.
It is a year of shutouts, not just for the Spartans, just for the year in general. We have seen an insane amount of goose eggs on the
Remarkable
scoreboard.
Volatility.
Absolutely. So we're still kind of waiting for the math nerds to do the math nerd thing. I tell Pastor, the goats, I should call them. They're not nerds. They're amazing. But they're probably hard at work right now getting all the scores into their systems. And, well, we can't really look at playoff stuff all that much until then. So we'll open up the phone lines for a little bit. 740-592-1055. We'll take a quick break. Catch back up on that. And then when we come back, hopefully we'll hear from some of y'all out there in the field. You're listening once again to Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
Back inside the Holzer Health Studios, it's Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills. Ethan Sargent, Eric Bub Landrum here with you for the next hour 15, breaking down all the games from around our area. We are going to hear from Daniel Bernard, the voice of the Athens Bulldogs, in just about 5 minutes or so. We should hear from him, so we'll definitely be eager to hear what he's got to say. Very interested to hear how Athens not only prepared this week and took care of business, but more I'm focused on what they're looking ahead towards and what's a big matchup next week. Probably a candidate for us to attend next week in that Athens-NY game. We'll have to discuss that at some point. Very exciting, though. Lots of good options next week as well. It's a great slate that we will certainly take a deeper look at as we continue to move throughout the evening. We had a few upsets. Again, if you're just joining us, we had a few upsets. We had some status quos that were reinforced, and we got a lot of points tonight. Really, just a lot of high scores around the area. I mean, 109 points in that Rock Hill Chesapeake game.
How about the highest points put up by a single team being 0-8 Morgan with 62 on the night?
Yeah, 62 points from Morgan. They destroyed Riverview. It's got to feel good for a program that's 0-8 to get your first win.
Hey, Riverview put up 7 points. That's their most points on the year. They only had 6 total points on the season coming into tonight.
Wow. Yeah, I know that's a program that struggled mightily.
Yeah, they even had to cancel a game earlier on in the season.
Struggled with numbers, struggled with just getting guys on the field. But
we see a lot of teams right now having that same issue. It's just it is a tough time right now, but hopefully we keep seeing numbers increase throughout the next few years.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see hopefully continue to see just, like again, Fed Hawk playing basically a full schedule this year is great for that program. Yeah. And again, they're probably going to go 2-8. They're probably 2-7. They did have a game get canceled.
Successful season though.
Very successful. They got a couple of wins, which meant a ton to that program for sure. And it's cool to see them be, back out. I mean, they went 2 years without playing. And last year they kind of got it going again in 7-on-7.
Yep.
And now this year back to 11-on-11. They were never going unbeaten, right? But it's just good to see them get guys back out there on the field and and get back to that. That reminds me that we had some great food up there in the Unioto
amazing.
Box.
Finally, we're going to talk about it.
Unbelievable food. The pulled meat or whatever they had.
Yeah.
The mashed potatoes, the gravy.
The chicken and noodles.
Chicken and noodles was delicious.
That peanut butter pie, phenomenal, by the way. I believe it was Bell Farms in Chillicothe.
Yes, it was
Bell
Bell Farms.
On Water Street in Chillicothe there, absolutely.
And I'm a big mashed potatoes fan. You know, Eric, I'm a very picky person when it comes to mashed potatoes.
Well, you wouldn't be able to tell by looking at you, bub.
I feel like nowadays you could have a little bit of second guessing, but definitely back in the day, no, it was obvious. It was the biggest low-hanging fruit there ever was.
Well, low-hanging fruit's never been something you're big on.
I like grapes
for sure. Let's keep it moving.
Well, yeah, that kind of sums up where we're at right now. So, well, I mean, we're still working on getting a lot of these. There's still a lot still to come in. Again, we can't really talk about playoff pictures just yet, again, because we are very much waiting on a lot. Like if I check Regional 11 right now, if I check the ITEL page, he's got a couple of them in, not all of them in yet.
Yeah.
It probably by the 11 o'clock, 11:15 window is when we usually have. Again, last update was 47. So it's 10:49, for example. So he is hard at work the Itel and Pasteur combo. And
hey, so are you at refreshing that screen too?
Oh man, I'm all over it. I guess we could talk about some other notable games from around the world. There was an interesting one. Indian Creek up in Wintersville, Jefferson County played St. Clairsville tonight. And then how about the Blue Jackets, the Red Devils?
It's redundant.
9-0 St. Clairsville. As I believe now, we're going to have the voice of the Bulldogs on the air, Mr. Daniel Bernard. Daniel, do we have you? How are you?
You do. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Recapping some football. So briefly, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but let's talk about this Bulldog victory. 58-0. They cruised. Who shone tonight? Who shined?
Yeah, I mean, it was really a little bit of everybody. Alex Pirro got it started on the first drive. Very first play of the game, defense forces a fumble, and then it took the offense 3 plays, and Alex got in. Heitland scored himself. They got Brady Wharton involved on senior night, a guy that doesn't usually get many touches during the game. They got him a jet sweep touchdown. Caden Bykowski with another deep ball touchdown. Leo Martin was pretty quiet tonight, all things considered. It was just one of those things where the game got out of hand so quickly that he didn't really get, I don't want to say many opportunities because they scored the amount of times they did, but like once it got to where it was the backups were in the first half for Athens, to put it into perspective. Yeah. But no, I mean, it was another great game by the defense. The very first play of the game, like I said, they forced that fumble, and then the River Valley's second offensive drive, the very first play of that one, Leo Martin picks off a pass. So the first 2 offensive plays from River Valley were turnovers, and then their third drive, they go -3 yards and punt. So it was just it was another really good defensive battle or defensive game for the Bulldogs, I would say.
Yeah, and a 0 on the scoreboard usually means you did something right defensively.
3 straight weeks.
Yeah, the Athens defense is playing at an extremely high level right now, and that is very good news for them as they continue to move closer and closer towards what's going to be an ultra competitive Region 11 playoffs. But before they go to those playoffs, Daniel, they've got a big one coming up next week. The Nelsonville York Buckeyes, they got to go on the road to Buchtel, and they got to take on an NY squad that's going to be fired up. They want the Doc Kramer Trophy back after losing it last year. How do you see that one playing out?
Yeah, they absolutely do. There's no doubt that NY has not forgotten what happened last year. There's no doubt they're going to be coming out with a vengeance, trying to get that back. Athens is really, to the extent that's. I mean, I've followed them. I've called their games all season long. Their defense is really going to take them as far as they can go. Their offense is so good. Their defense is so good. But as long as that defense can play to the caliber that they've been playing all season long, I really think that Athens is going to be around for the next few weeks and on. I think Daniel Heitland looked good again tonight. We didn't really get to see him throw the ball too much. His touchdown to Caden Bykowski was the only passing touchdown of the night. It wasn't too much passing, but he still looked comfortable back there, and I think that I don't really see much changing next week. I know that Buchtel is a very tough place to play. I know that they have a very good team. I also know that Athens has an extremely good team, and they're extremely tough to stop. And I know NY is very tough to stop. So I think it's going to – I think the game's going to be won by one of the defenses, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I love that call.
Whoever can make that stop.
I love that call. I think it will come down to the defenses, who can make the plays, who can get the stops in the key moments. I agree with you. I think that could be where it ends up coming down to. And what do you think about the potential matchups in Region 11? Let's take a quick look at this. According to Drew Pasteur, as of right now, the 9-0 Athens Bulldogs are most likely to play Carrollton in the first round, 28%. with the 10 wins. Carrollton, not a bad team. They're 6-2. They played West Branch tonight. I don't know how that game ended. Yeah, they're now 6-3. West Branch won that game 33-6 to go to 9-0. But again, their best win, they've lost to the best teams they've played. Their best win is probably over East Liverpool back in week 1. So that'd be a matchup that Athens would probably feel pretty good about.
Yeah, I think that Athens is very confident regardless of who they go up against, to be honest with you, Ethan. It's one of those things. I've talked with Nathan White. I talked with him about that yesterday in terms of have they started to look at potential matchups, have they started to practice accordingly, that kind of stuff. He said that every week of practice has, in continuing, they're just taking it 1 week at a time. They're not looking too far ahead into things. He said obviously it's fun, the 30 minutes to an hour after the game, see all the scores, how everything's shaking up. But to be honest with you, they're taking it 1 week at a time, and I think that them being focused on the task in front of them, which next week is going to be NY. That's what they stay true to. In terms of what I think, I know there's a lot of really, really good competition in Region 11. The fact that they're setting themselves up really nicely for 2 home games is going to be huge. Obviously, should they win that first one and then go to the second. But I think that home field is going to be a huge factor, and regardless of who they play.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And then, of course, as they get into those, if they do end up going into those later matchups, it'll go to that neutral site. So right. I guess last thing for you, Daniel, before we let you go for the evening. I know, obviously, these last couple weeks, they've just been rolling, right? And there isn't much that you could feasibly say, well, they could get better. Is there any possible way that you think this Bulldog team could get better over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I calculate. I added it up after the game tonight. Ethan, the past 3 weeks, Athens is outscoring their opponents 134-0.
Wow!
It's just been that dominant of performances. The defense has just been outstanding. I think the one area that I think that they could improve on a little bit, although we didn't see weaknesses in it at all tonight, could be once they get the ball down into the red zone. They had a little trouble with that against Megs a few weeks ago. But even through the last 2 weeks, they haven't had much trouble with it. So they've been improving there. The penalties, there weren't many of those tonight, but they've had a few of those this season. But it's just been such a fundamentally sound football team, and I don't like sitting here and straight up bragging about how good. I don't want to say my team, but in terms of any sport, I don't like sitting here and boasting about how good my team is, but it's just they're so fundamentally sound, and they just do everything the right way. It's tough to find areas where they could improve upon, but they definitely can. And I would say that the red zone offense and cleaning up some of the penalties for sure. But even though those two things aren't they're not terrible, is what I'm saying.
No, and that's absolutely key. If you're going to go win these games, especially against some of these better teams that they're going to have to play here in these next couple weeks, you're going to have to be completely fundamentally sound. Well, Daniel, we appreciate having you on. As always, enjoy the rest of your night, and big one coming up next week. We're real excited to see how that one goes.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good rest of the show.
Have a good night.
Always good to hear from Daniel. The voice of the Bulldogs does a good job over there, bringing the Athens team that is 9-0. 9-0. We thought this team could be real good, and I believe that this team could be real good. And I'm so impressed at the fact that they're 9-0.
The one question mark I do have, and it's not really a question mark, it's more of a concern. The last 3 weeks, Daniel stated that them outscoring opponents 130+0. Is them not being tested in the last 3 weeks a concern entering Nelsonville, York on the road?
I think the thing with it is, you only play the teams that that are put in front of you.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, it happens all the time in college football, right? Where, for example, this year, Ohio State, played 3 teams that, they steamrolled, and then they play Oregon last week, and, they lost a very, very tight matchup. But, again, let's say in a fantasy world, Ohio State gets blown out. Everyone would have been like, oh, well, they only played easy people in the non-conference, and now no wonder they got beat bad. Obviously, they didn't get beat bad. Ohio State's a good football team. I think they're going to do just fine. But the point is that Athens is beating the teams that they're being put in front of, and they're beating them easily, right? No points allowed in 3 weeks says something against, doesn't matter who you play. Ironton gave up points tonight against Gallion. It was probably backups, but still, right? It goes to show that this team is playing, and I really liked what Daniel said there in that last point. They're playing fundamentally sound football, limiting penalties, running the ball, keeping things simple, and let me tell you, it's working. What they're doing is working. They don't, and again, remember, there's a quarterback change. Mid-season, Daniel Heitland has come in for Braden Young, and he has played extremely well. He's getting better every week. The thing with that, and this could be a potential concern, is that he hasn't really had to play from behind. And that could be something that could hurt Athens later in the year.
They haven't had to play a full 4-quarter game as far as leaving the starters in since that Philo matchup week 1. That's where my concern is. Maybe the complacency and just the not getting a full game in week in and week out. It could cause fatigue in week 10.
That is a thing, but I do think that this Athens team is ready for anything. I think that they'll be ready to compete against whoever you put in front of them. And I think we're in for a treat next week too. We're gonna have to talk about where we're gonna go because we have another for like the 8th week in a row. We have another tough call to make. But in any case, we're gonna take one more break. When we come back, should hopefully have some more playoff brackets updated. Plenty more to talk about here on Football Friday Nights. We will be back in just a second. You're listening live to Football Friday Nights.
Everyone knows Nick's Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. Brought to you by the Suicide Prevention Coalitions of Athens, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Pike counties.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
For 190 years, Austin Powder Company has been the name you can trust in the mining industry. Our legacy is built on safety, customer care, and a great workplace. From the first blast to the final haul, we've been there every step of the way. Ready to be part of our tradition of excellence? The Red Diamond Austin Powder plant in MacArthur is now hiring. Visit austinpowder.com or call 596-7940 to apply today and start your journey with a global leader in the industry. Why not come work for an exciting company offering great benefits, challenging opportunities, and with colleagues that feel like family? Austin Powder Company, improving the world we live in through safe and responsible use of explosives.
Broadcasting from the Holzer Studios, taking local healthcare to the next level. We are Southeast Ohio's hometown rock station. Q Rock 105 WXTQ Athens. USA, a total media station.
We're back here on Football Friday Nights, presented by General Mills. Ethan Sargent, Erica Bub Landry here with you for the next hour and change, as we have got lots to talk about still. We've got lots to go through, plenty of matchups to talk about, potential matchups to talk about, playoff brackets to break down, and the phone lines are open. If you want to come talk to us, feel free to give us a ring, 740-592-1055. We are happy to hear from you guys out there in the field. Let us know where you were at. Talk to us maybe about what game you saw. And, well, help us break it down because we can't be at every game, unfortunately. Let's see if any of these regions potentially have some updates. I know that we're still working through a lot of these. And we're still looking at some of these matchups. But, again, a lot of these still have not been updated. Steubenville had an off week last week. I didn't realize that. So that was interesting. It might cost them the 1 seed, honestly.
Like a late cancellation?
I think it was. I think it was a late cancellation. I do think they were supposed to play.
Seen a good bit of those in our area as well throughout.
Yeah, again, we just mentioned that with the Fed Hawk segment, how teams are struggling with injuries, and it happens everywhere. It happens everywhere.
Southern Megs got canceled today as well.
Yeah, Payton City had some issues with injuries, so they didn't play. So yeah, I mean, we could just continue to go through here. Let's take a look. Chillicothe, by the way, did move up. They got updated. They are up to 20th spot, and they are not mathematically eliminated. They would have been with a loss.
Yeah.
However, now looking at this, basically they still probably needed to. Well, let's see. They gotta. Right now, it's because it has to update the bracket to reflect the win over Trace because the algorithm didn't give them much for a shot. So, because it doesn't have the win-win scenario in here, it doesn't believe they're gonna have to beat Jackson next week.
Yeah, they gotta take care of business next week, and then they're probably gonna need a bit of help.
They probably will. But it is not out of the realm of possibility. So it is very much still alive. And yeah, that is what's going on. It is all happening. It is all happening. I'm very excited to see. And look, you have to feel good for that program, right? They had 0-7 to start the year. And they were the last 2 weeks, the Washington loss and the Hillsborough loss were both competitive losses. They only lost to Portsmouth West by 1, right? They were right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they get the win over McLean, and now it all finally comes to a head with a big win over Miami Trace. Got to feel good for the Cavaliers to bounce back like this and to get that win.
It's a lot of confidence to play Jackson next week after taking down Miami Trace, because Jackson and Miami Trace was a relatively close matchup until that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami Trace even had the lead at half. So Chillicothe's definitely got a lot of confidence playing Jackson.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And we're going to see what ends up happening in the FAC. I believe, did Jackson clinch outright with the Trace loss today? They did.
Yeah, the only team that has a potential to tie them in losses is Courthouse, and they got the head-to-head on that.
Yeah, so my Jackson for the fourth straight year will win the Frontier Athletic Conference. So congrats to Andy Hall. Congrats to the Jackson Ironmen on a job well done in the conference this season. They are currently sitting at 7-2. They are in a weird spot playoff-wise. They are in a strange spot just because of how the non-con looks. As it looks like for the most part, this is updated in Region 11. So we could take a quick look at this. Right now, Jackson is in 9th at 7-2. They have not yet clinched a playoff spot, just because, again, that's how crazy it is right now. Marietta with the win today move up to 17th, so they're just on the outside looking in. They're gonna they need help too. They're almost a full point, or they are a full point and change behind Lyndon McKinley right now, who are at 6-3. Or no, they're behind Hamilton. Or no, excuse me. Hamilton Township's at 9.7 in the computer.
Yep.
And they're at 5-4. Marietta's at 9.5. If you want to get specific, 9.73 for Hamilton, 9.56 for
So, I mean, not even
Marietta.
2 points. Or
It
0.2
is.
behind.
It is razor thin, and it may end up coming down to some random teams here and there getting wins, and it's going to be tight. It is going to be tight. And
Gosh, that Marietta versus Warren. How far did Warren move up? They were right behind each other, neck and neck. I feel like Warren
moved
would have
up.
jumped up
Didn't
more.
move up as much. They moved
Really?
up only to 8.2.
Okay.
But I think the big thing is New Philadelphia and Independence both control their own destiny, but I don't think that they've updated those matchups for this week just yet, because that's why it still says control own destiny. So I don't know. This is going to be so interesting.
Yeah, that Region 11 is shaping up to be just nothing but chaos, and it has been all year, right? We knew it was going to come down to the last week to figure it all out.
Absolutely. Yep. It is going to come down to the very last week. And again, we might be sitting here pretty much this time next week, sifting through everything,
looking at matchups,
but also seeing if people made it in. It might be an antsy wait for some of those teams while they might be sitting up there. Maybe Marietta, even after a win next week, potentially.
I mean, you're going to see players waking up on Saturday morning, and they're either going to have a smile on their face or they're going to have their hearts broken.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, that's the reality of getting to the playoffs.
Well, we have a caller on the line here. You're live on Football Friday Kickoff. Who we got?
No, guess who?
Oh, there he is. It would have been like 5 out of my 7 guesses would have been Bo. So, Bo, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, I'm great.
Yeah, I imagine so with Trimble. Unfortunately, though, Trimble dropped a tough one, right? Do I have Trimble's score right?
Yeah, it was 14-6 Waterford.
14-6. Waterford again. Great football team, right? So, were there some encouraging signs for the Tomcats in terms of, at least defensively, for sure? You could definitely take some positives.
They bended, but they didn't break other than 2 big plays. They didn't. Waterford was in their red zone like 3 times within like 10, 15 yards, and the defense held strong down there. That was a very good game to watch. If you like defense, that was your type of game.
I'm a big defense fan.
Yeah,
I like those kind of games.
definitely. I mean, look, the final score reflects it. It's it was a defensive battle in every sense, and well, now you're looking at a matchup. Where Trimble now they're gonna drop a little bit in 27, but they still very much will be in the playoffs. Will have a home game. Right now. With the loss to Waterford, they're probably not going to get a second one. It might be tough to get that double home, but right now, according to Pasteur, they're likely to face Southern actually in the next round. That's the highest percentage chance. Yeah, that would be a fun one. Those 2 teams have history. They've seen
met
them
in the playoffs before.
They have. Absolutely right. So yeah, 80% chance right now. Southern would be the most likely opponent. Obviously, would not be a lock. So we will see, and it would be in Trimble, would be in Gloucester. Obviously, bouncing as it always would be for a playoff game. How would you feel about a potential matchup with Southern?
Oh, I think it'd be very fun. I think Trimble's going to be a dangerous 6-4 team.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think you're dead right.
I mean, you got to
That's
feel
a team
confident.
no one wants to see in the second round. It's like Wheelersburg.
Yep.
But I think one of the good things is we stay away from Danville as long as we can now. I think even if Eastern wins go 10-0, that was close.
Yeah, it was close. You're right.
That was a heck.
I don't think Eastern's going to have enough points to get the 1 seed.
No, because the win tonight was probably their best win on the year with that South Gallia team.
Absolutely.
So now, it's going to be about waiting, kind of what we were just talking about on the air with, a lot of these anxious waits of, who's going to be there, who's going to get the win, who's going to be that's kind of how they got to wait for the computer to do its thing.
Yeah, I think the Tomcats are in a good position. I mean, if they can avoid Danville as long as they can, because I really think that the regions in the just 2 tiers, I think Trimble and Danville are the top 2 teams in the region. That might be a hot take. I'll put that hot take out there. But the Tomcats have played a tough schedule. Everyone's bigger than them except Southern. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Everybody on Trimble's schedule is bigger than them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they play. They play a tough schedule. We see it every year, right? It's not a big school, Gloucester. It's a small school,
no.
And I was so surprised last year that they moved up to 23. I remember talking to a few guys down there in Trimble last year, them saying, yeah, I mean, we're going down. We're probably going back down to 27 next year. And I'm like, well, I don't know why you guys even moved up in the first place.
We went from 118 boys to 82 in just a 1-year swing.
Wow. That is big. That was a big class.
Schools.
Yeah.
But this region's really weird because it's top heavy, and Danville's a phenomenal team. I'll give Danville all the credit in the world. That KMAC is a tough conference.
It is, yeah, but a little bit farther north. That's a tough place to play.
I don't think it's unlikely to see a few upsets in the first round. I mean, I think Shadyside, if they land a good game, I think they'll win a game. Because I think they could win against Southern if that's who it plays. Because when I looked on Pastor, that's projected who they would play. I think
they really turned their season around after the slow start from Shadyside.
They have the tradition there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Numbers are low because I like to read around, but I know numbers are low down there. But that's a good program, and they'll be back eventually. I mean, it's just like every school has their cycle. Like Trimble is down right now, but
look, that's a team that Trimble any given year you feel like could just all of a sudden rattle a few wins, and before you blink, they're in the regional final.
Yeah, they could be a threat every year.
That's just kind of how Phil Fairs and the Tomcats operate.
And no matter how down Trimble is, they're going to give you their best shot for 48 minutes. They just don't lay down and quit.
No, you're dead right. And I think like if they were to match up against the Danville, or let's say a Beaver Eastern, right, where they probably would not be favored against Beaver Eastern. But if they were,
my mind says they are, and you won't change that. But obviously,
but again, honestly, that from the outside perspective, 10-0 versus 6-4, right? Purely record watching, and I know we know better than that. But purely record watching, you'd say, okay, well, Tomcats are looking pretty good. Or excuse me, they'd be not looking great. And then, how do we think about, all these potential matchups, right? There's so much. Obviously, when we talk next week, we might have a much clearer idea of who Trimble is going to play. But how confident do you feel in this team being able to make a run?
Very.
Yeah.
This team, you saw it, like, when they start clicking, everything falls into place, and they're a good team. They've always been a good team. The sky's the limit with this team.
Yeah, you just got to figure out the inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
I think the sophomore quarterback just hit 1,000 yards passing tonight.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think we match up with everyone well in this region. On any given night, it could be the Tomcats game. I mean, I feel like Trimble and Danville, whenever they meet, if it's week 13 or 14, I feel like that's going to decide the region. And that's no disrespect to any other teams. I just feel like that's the way it is based off history.
I don't disagree.
I mean, you got every right to believe that. They're 2 top teams in their region respectfully.
Yeah, but I mean, and it's not a knock to all these other teams, but I don't think Eastern schedule's been there. They're having, and it's great. They started football, 11, 12 years ago? Yeah. You don't hear many teams going 10-0 just 10 years later.
Yeah.
Miller, they're having a good season, but it comes down to the point of their lack of emphasis, and can they recognize what's coming at them, and can their starters keep up? Because I know Miller's had a lot of blowout games, and Eastern, are their starters conditioned to play a whole game?
They've definitely been tested this year. I mean, Southern Megs took them to the wire, and Trimble, they handled them with
I'm not one to compare scores either, but They beat Southern by 6, and we beat them by 22.
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely look at common opponents and gauge a little bit off of it.
You totally, and that's one of the best ways, especially in Southeast Ohio, to gauge teams. Because obviously, we don't have some of these advanced analytics that, the NFL or college football or even some of the higher level high schools have. When you're talking about Trimble and some of these smaller schools, right, we could just kind of look at what we've got in terms of scores, how much points they give up, how much points do they score, right? And really, that tells you a lot. And again, that common opponent factor is key. And I think, again, that tells you a lot that Trimble beat Southern by more than Eastern did. And I think you can take that for face value.
I think you can. Yeah. And I'm just never been one to compare scores, but I've watched some film, and Eastern has a nice ball club, but what they do, it could be good in the first round, but going into November, I don't think they're really set up for success, if that makes sense.
They got to figure out the slow starts.
Yeah,
if they want to make a run.
They can't.
That would kill. I mean, Trimble was in the ball game all night. They just failed to capitalize on opportunities, and it was coming down to the point where whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. I felt like if Trimble would have scored, and obviously they didn't. But that was another problem: not finishing drives off, stalling.
Yeah,
the running game was good tonight. I mean, they were getting pushes, but 2 big plays outside of that might have been a 6-0 ball game in Trimble's favor had they not let up 2 big plays. I mean, that was a great defensive effort tonight.
Yeah, it really was. So let's pivot off, Bo. I know we like to talk about some of the other scores around the area. There were some big upsets tonight. What were some of the ones that caught your eye?
What happened with Miami Trace?
Yeah,
exactly.
We're
still trying to figure that out.
I thought I think Miami Trace is a good team, but what happened there?
I mean, big injury last week coupled with a tough loss, and then you got to bounce back against the Chillicothe team that has found success, a little bit earlier on. So it just seemed like the perfect storm at Hermstein Field.
I didn't see Unido clocking Paint Valley either. I thought that'd be a close game.
Yeah, I mean, I was there, and let me tell you, I mean, it was just unbelievable that that it happened that way.
So dominant.
Look, again, now that I can say this, I didn't pick the game pregame. I thought Unioto was going to win the game. I did have Unioto on my pick sheet. I
had
think
Unioto was going to win. But I thought it'd be a closer game.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be one of those 28-14 type of games.
That's right around where I had it.
35-21 was
right
my
around
pick.
where I had it. And now, I mean, it's just so interesting. That's what ended up happening. And again, I think you have to give full credit to Unioto. They played, again, as somebody watched the game, they played a heck of a ball game.
They just looked ready.
They were so, I mean, it was, like I said, we talked about it earlier, 14-0 before you could blink.
Yep. Let's veer out into MAC country. Marion Local beat Minster 21-0. I think they just tied the state record for most games won in a row.
I think you're right. I think you are right. So I think if they win
ridiculous.
Next week, I mean that program. You want to talk about class. You want to talk about excellence.
You want to talk about football up there in general. That's what it is.
No, it is. My good friend, my good friend Carl Blaylock. I don't know if he's listening right now. He might either be watching the baseball or asleep, one of the two. But he is from that area. He's from up in, he went to Edgerton High School, all the way up farthest north corner of the state, northwest corner. And he knows that area very well. He's very familiar with football. And he always said Marion Local is just not a team you ever want to see. That is
we found that out in 2013 when we played him in the state title. That is not a team you want to see. That is probably the best small school team in the country, and you could probably put them toe for toe, every team from Division 7 up until Division 3.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. They could play anybody. You put them up against Jackson, like a very, very good D3 school, I would probably take Marion Local. And that's not a slight to Jackson at all.
That's just Tim Goodwin is a mastermind at what he does. That is not a fluke that he has 14 state titles in 25 years.
Ridiculous number.
And he'll have 15 after this year because no one's going to beat them.
Yeah, they're the best team in 7.
You can't pencil it, but it's a 99.99999 on% chance that Marion Local wins state. Everyone else is just playing for a second runner-up trophy.
Yeah, they really are. Look, regional titles still mean something, for sure.
Absolutely.
Getting to the state.
Marion Local Minster is going to play in Week 14 again.
Yeah, probably. Again, Region 7 has just been dominated by Marion Local and probably will be for a long time just because that's the standard, and that's kind of what they do. looking around, I mean, I guess I'll ask you this, Bo, and I want to ask you two guys this as well. Besides Ironton, because that's kind of the cheap answer, what team in our coverage area do you guys feel like has the best shot at potentially going to Canton?
Man,
that's tough.
That is a very tough question.
And look, obviously, Ironton's expectation is to go to Canton. That's why I removed them from the equation, because they are expected to go to Canton.
You guys don't cover Ridgewood, do you?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not a bad shout though. They're playing good football.
Tri Valley,
very good football.
I don't hate that
Tri
shout.
Valley.
Tri Valley, they'd have to pull some upsets.
Yeah,
they'd have to pull a huge upset.
Every team on our
Waterson.
coverage is going to have to pull some incredible upsets. I think Tri Valley's got the best chance so far.
I like that call.
I swear, if it's not Unioto, I think they're the clear 3. I know East is, I think, still unbeaten, like you said earlier in the broadcast. But you've got Unioto. That is a very big, very athletic team that can run the ball. Their quarterback's capable of running the ball as well. You got Indian Valley and St. Clairsville as well. You're only going to have to take on one of those squads. It feels like, anyway. I think Unioto, if the chips fall the right way, listen, I couldn't believe what I saw from that Unioto squad. And if you make it past those two teams in that region, it's anyone's game at that point.
The athleticism and the skills are definitely there.
If we're not talking Canton, though, and we can talk Charleston, Wahama's got a shot.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at
the
them,
White Falcons.
If we're talking Charleston, I like Wahama.
Yeah.
Old TVC Hawking member. I like that.
Yeah, they were a former TVC.
I'll put them in over Williamstown. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, no, that's right.
And Williamstown's been on the rise, too. I watch a lot of West Virginia football, too. I pay attention to a lot of the surrounding states. I'm a football junkie, but yeah, I put Wahama there. I mean, the way they dismantled a good Eastern team, yeah.
No,
and in Region 23, I'll put Waterford as a dark horse. That is a good Waterford team.
They are really good. 6-2. I want to say that their losses are like to very.
I think
good.
Caldwell and Fort Fry.
Yeah,
Caldwell and Fort
those
Fry.
are good. Those are good losses. And then Fort Fry.
Honestly, here's another hot take: if or Fort Fry and Waterford played round 2, I'd take Waterford.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. I think if you gave them a rematch, Waterford might like their chances in a rematch. And
I would. Waterford's physical. They can run the ball. They have an athletic quarterback. What they do is good.
And that's, by the way, that region's updated. Waterford's up to 5th now. Fort Fry is in 4th. Actually, and Waterford's record hasn't even been updated. Or no, because do they have an open week on their schedule? No, it hasn't updated the win against Trimble. So they might jump up over Fort Fry potentially with that win over Trimble. We'll see.
Yeah,
they might be in line.
Waterford's playing with house money.
They are. And I look, they jumped back up to 23 as well. They were in 27 last year. They pulled the big upset over Eastern Beaver. They're still very much a threat. So
Waterford's been a threat ever since what's their
Coach McCutcheon, Eric McCutcheon, who has done an amazing job. An amazing job.
Absolutely. The Waterford Wildcats are trending up. They've been trending up.
Big time. No, you're dead on. I think they're right. So, all right, Bo, we're gonna let you go. Thanks again, as always, for joining us.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're gonna have. I'm sure you're gonna have plenty. We're gonna have plenty to talk about next week.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I'm excited, Bo. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
And talk to you later.
See ya.
Always great to hear from Bo. He's
Absolutely.
so knowledgeable. It's great.
He is.
I love that. It's great. It makes our lives a lot easier.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, plenty more to break down as these computer scores start to update. We can start to look at some potential implications for next week. Maybe some teams that are win and in next week. We'll try and find some of those throughout the computer algorithm when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday night, almost said kickoff night, on General Mills and Total Media Radio.
Tired of that annoying drip? Call Rogers Plumbing and More. With over 20 years of experience, Rogers Plumbing and More has been your trusted local expert for residential plumbing. From running toilets to hot water tanks on the brink, Rogers is your go-to for all your plumbing needs. Call Rogers Plumbing and More at 740-447-4589. Rogers Plumbing and More. We fix it right the first time. Visit us online at RogersPlumbingandMore.com.
Trying to find a durable new look for your retail office, house, garage, or new barn dominium? Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding has added 2 new profiles within the past year that would make great options. A heavier 26-gauge metal board and batten with several colors to choose from adds a fresh new look to any project regardless of size. Or come in and check out our new options for standing seam. If it's steel roofing and siding, it comes from Higgins. Located in Hillsboro and Jackson, Higgins Steel Roofing and Siding. Family owned and operated since 1958.
Hungry for some home-cooked goodness just like Grandma's? Come on down to Mammy's Country Kitchen in Albany. Whether it's our mouth-watering meatloaf, crisp salads, or our creamy mashed potatoes, we've got something to satisfy every craving. Savor some of our homemade noodles, rolls, and desserts. At Mammy's, we believe in good food and great company. Bring your family and friends and stay a while. We're located in the historic Albany Schoolhouse on the hill behind the library. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mammy's Country Kitchen, where every meal feels like home.
Looking for a home away from home for your furry friend? Welcome to Red Woof Inn, where tails wag and dreams come true. At Red Woof, we offer spacious play areas, cozy naps, and personalized care from our dedicated team. Whether your pup loves fetch or just snuggling, we've got it covered. Our facilities are top-notch and our staff are dog lovers through and through. From playtime adventures to treat-filled cuddle sessions, we ensure your pup has a blast. Give your dog a vacation they'll love at Red Woof Inn, located on Old Dixon Road in MacArthur. Call 740-649-8640 to book your fur baby stay while spots are still available.
At Adventure Pro Outdoors, we are the experts in outdoor fun. Spend the day on the Hocking River, canoeing, kayaking, or tubing. Sling some mud through Wayne National Forest on a guided Polaris side-by-side tour. Or book a 3-wheeled slingshot and experience the most scenic highways in Southeast Ohio.
Come meet the Adventure Pro staff on Canal Street in Nelsonville, Ohio.
New memories start here. Visit AdventureProOutdoors.com.
Are you looking to make a difference in a child's life? At Necco Foster Care, we believe every child deserves a loving home. Join our community of caring families and provide a safe, nurturing environment for kids in need. With support and training every step of the way, you can be the change a child needs. Are you ready to open your heart and home? Contact Necco Foster Care today and make a lasting impact. Visit necco.org or call 740-263-2626. Together, we can create brighter futures. Necco, we build families.
Call on all hunters and outdoor enthusiasts. It's time to gear up for your next adventure with our buy one, get 2 free sale on select styles at Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. That's right, 3 pairs of boots for the price of 1. Whether you plan to hit the deer woods this fall, need new hiking boots for the trails, or even a new pair of work boots, we've got you covered. So don't miss out. Stop and see us today at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store. Open Monday through Saturday at 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Come get fully set up for the fall at the Rocky Outdoor Gear Store.
Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health of Ohio is proud to present The Search Project. The Search Project through the Jackson County Health Department is a program designed to decrease the negative impacts of COVID-19 and other public health issues and promote healthy behaviors through the deployment of community health work. The project is funded by CDC and serves 11 counties in southeastern Ohio. For more information, contact the Jackson County Health Department at 740-935-6322.
Back on Football Friday night. Ethan Sargent, Eric Bub Landrum here. Got about a half hour to go on the program. So let's try and find some teams that are winning in. So we're going to do some sleuthing here, some website digging. I think once these are all updated, he'll indicate a lot of them. There are quite a few teams that do control their own destiny. I think Sheridan is one that is winning in. I think we can pretty much confirm that.
Yeah.
Even with the loss today, they are win and in. So let's take a look at their the page on the on ITEL's system, sitting at 6-3. So they would be in with the win. They would project to be the 12 seed. And then with a double loss, they have a 32% chance of still making it. So they would probably need some other teams to drop around them, but they do have a chance. But they'll want to do it themselves this week. Again, coming up next week, that's a big game. We'll put that on our sheet against Tri-Valley. Back at home, they are. and we'll have to see how that goes. It should be an interesting matchup as well. So we'll see what happens in that one. Let's try and find a couple more. We're going to have to try and dig for a few more. In Region 11, we'll start there because that's usually where we start. We don't really deal with the higher regions around here. I think the only schools that we really cover that's in 7 is Logan is in 7, but Logan's not going to make the playoffs. Jackson did clinch a playoff spot tonight. They are in at 9. They probably still need a little bit of help to get a home game, potentially. Well, I'll see if that's updated. Let's see. No, that's not updated yet. We'll have to come back to that at some point. But Jackson's probably going to need a little bit of help still for a second home game, but they will be, for a first home game. Sorry. They may be on the road week 1, which, I mean, that's a tough break for Jackson at 8-2. But I think, again, the FAC has struggled a little bit this year outside of Miami Trace. And then with Trace losing now this week to Chillicothe, they lose a lot of those L2 points.
Yep. I think I'm
muted. Is it this one?
I think so.
There
we
wacky.
go.
It's wacky. I think it was 2-3 or something like that.
There's a lot of crazy playoff scenarios that can happen right now. And I'm just going through and looking at conference and seeing who's still alive in the conference standings right now. And all I've got right now is the TVC Ohio, where the Athens versus Nelsonville York, and then that big SOC2 matchup against Wheelersburg and Portsmouth West next week. Those are two just great matchups.
Yeah, that Berg West game is another one we're definitely going to have to consider for Friday kickoff. And I mean, I'm sure me, you, and Eric will have a nice discussion. We can't really do what we did this week or last week where we just announced it and went for it on the show. But we're going to update you. We'll throw it on our Facebook at some point. I would say Athens NY is up there for sure. I would say that that game, the Westburg game, is definitely up there. But we'll see. We'll see. Lots of good games to choose from. So we'll have to take a look at that as we continue to roll here on what has been a very fun Friday night. I think we had a few more upsets than we expected. Just a lot of interesting moments in this game. Oh my God, Glaber almost booted it. The Yankees won.
Up 3-1 in the series.
Thank God. Oh my goodness, he almost booted it. I think I would have spiraled on air on a Friday night kickoff show. But the Yankees win. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry for those of you who are Guardians fans. But the Yankees get a big-time victory. And let's go Yanks. That'll be it for baseball, though. I can finally turn this game off. Oh, it was freaking Birdie. He made the play, though. It wasn't Glaber. But whatever. They won. Exhale. But a lot of teams are going to be exhaling next week. Or some of them might get their hearts broken. When we talk about this, right, there's so many of these teams that are going to be so, like we piked in last year, 6-4, didn't make the playoff. Like there are going to be teams in Region 11, especially that might be like 7, like Marietta.
And that Marietta
very feasibly
Warren,
go 7-3 and miss the playoffs, and that hurts if you are because Marietta could win the Twin State League, go 7-3, and still miss the playoffs after making it last year at what? I think they made it 5-5 last year.
Yeah, and then they met up with Jackson in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then Jackson beat them pretty bad in the playoffs.
But Warren could do the same thing. They're both going to meet up at 6-3 and both potentially not make the playoffs in week 10. It's just that is such a crazy statistic, and you're right. Just that Region 11 is such a tough region to break into the top 16. We shouldn't see teams sitting at 7-3 not being able to reach the top 16. Those are teams that should be competing for the top 8 in that region. It's just wild right now.
Yeah, no kidding. And and that's the thing. Think about Marietta. We're in Division 4. They're probably playing a home game next week.
Yeah,
or in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the craziness about just bumping up one division. It causes so much chaos. And for Warren and Marietta, it's definitely going to come down to that Week 10 matchup plus a little bit of help.
Yeah, they're going to need a little bit of help for sure. Let's move to 15 real quick. We haven't touched on that region very much. St. Clairsville, man, they're impressive. Yeah. Indian Valley, we talked about the kid, Grady Kinsey, who has been a monster running the football. Let's see if this is updated. They won again tonight. Man, it is razor tight for that 1 seed. It feels like it's setting up for a thrilling showdown in that regional final between St. Clairsville and Indian Valley. Unioto would try to have something to say about it. They are locked into one home game. Haven't quite clinched the double home yet. But they do have a shot at that, though. They'll probably need New Lex to lose. They'll probably, because if New Lex beats Sheridan, they'll get some nice points.
Yeah.
St. Clairsville, they are looking good. Indian Valley's going to go 10-0. Their tough point of the schedule was the 2 weeks before this week. They played Garraway, Ridgewood. Tuscarawas Valley this week, 48-7, easy. They play 1-8 Claymont next week, so it'll be 10-0 for them. St. Clairsville with a big win tonight. They played Indian Creek, different school, and then they play 0-9 Cambridge next week. So they'll probably go to 10-0, but the thing about playing 0-9 Cambridge, you're not getting any L2 points. So they probably won't be able to leap over Indian Valley. It doesn't mean that 1-2 doesn't make that much of a difference, honestly. It's just that point of pride of being, we're the 1 seed. But 1 and 2, once you get to neutral sites, it really doesn't make all that big of a difference. Unioto sitting at 3rd at 8-1. They're feeling great. New Lex in 4th, 8-1, feeling great. Logan Elm clinched a playoff spot with the win over Alexander. Fairfield Union clinched a playoff spot. They got a big win tonight over Amanda Clear Creek. That was a monster win. Philo clinched a playoff spot at 5-4. Again, this region's a little bit weaker, right? It is still kind of weak. Waverly does still control their own destiny. However, right, with the loss this week, I'm going to be interested to see what things look like in a loss. They're still in. They're still in even with the loss. They're just probably not going to host a home game. It does not look like they're going to host a home game with that loss. I think that loss may have cost them a home playoff game.
That Philo at 5-4 in that region, that's a scary team to meet in round 1 or 2. Because they were battle tested earlier on against Athens, and since then they've still been a pretty solid team, competing in a lot of competitive matchups and managing to find their success over 500 now. That's going to be a tough team.
It's going to be. I'm so next week's Friday night's probably our biggest at best of the year. We're gonna have a lot of people on. I remember last year on week 10's Friday night, we talked to Andy Hall, and he was literally in like an apartment or a house or something with the rest of the Jackson coaching staff, and they were all just waiting. They were celebrating a win, and they were just waiting. Right, and maybe we'll get Coach Hall on the show next week. I still got his number. We can see if we can talk to him. I know that they always, for those of you who are listening on KOV, they always talk to Coach Hall post game. So always good to hear from him. Coach Hall, great guy. It's always, and this is an interesting point for some of you who are listening in Jackson. I always wonder because Coach Hall, one of the more personable dudes I've ever met. Super nice guy. Always very kind to us, the media. Super chill dude. But when he flows on that field, man. A switch gets flipped.
Oh, yeah.
He is intense out there. I love it, personally.
He's definitely got a couple personalities as a coach.
But he is intense, man. I feel like, again, that gets buy-in. I feel like you get, because, again, that respect is not, just as much as respect from coach to kid is given, not earned, respect from kid to coach is also earned, not given, right? You have to earn your team's respect, right? If you not even forget decisions. If you don't treat your players the right way, kids aren't going to respect you. Coach Hall, no one treats his kids better than Coach Hall in terms of preparing them for the season, right? It's why they play such a tough non-con. It's why they scrimmage all these tough teams before the year, and he works them to the bone. I know how tough those practices are. I've been to a few of them.
Yeah.
They are brutal, right? Doesn't matter how hot, how cold, they're out there. Like, they want to be practicing on Thanksgiving. That's what I mentioned. That was one thing you mentioned later. We want to be practicing the Thursday Thanksgiving because that means we're playing in big-time games.
Yeah, and that's a standard that Coach Hall set since he's gotten to Jackson in 2009. I was fortunate enough to be a junior when Coach Hall took the helm at Jackson, and you said it best. His practices, he wants to be playing in weeks 12, weeks 13, and so on. He's set the standard at Jackson to do that since he's gotten there. He's made the program improve and improve throughout his 14-year career as an Ironman head coach, and he's been nothing but phenomenal since he's gotten there. I would love to hear his thoughts after the matchup against Chillicothe next week as well, Ethan. I think he could really give us a lot of insight as to how that rivalry within that conference really matches up.
Yeah, no kidding. This is just such an interesting season. There's so many different things going on. And again, we're going to run out of time before we can even break it all down. When we come back, we're going to go down to some of those other regions. Region 23, Region 19, Region 27. We still got to talk about some of those. We will when we come back. You're listening to Football Friday Night.
Football season is here. Keep your athletes at their best with Holzer in Athens. Dr. Jason Cox Orthopedics and Dr. Aaron Ramsey Chiropractic Care are currently accepting new patients. From follow-up care to injury repair, our healthcare team at Holzer Athens will keep your athlete in the game. Call 855-446-5937 to schedule your appointment today. That's 855-446-5937.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Southern Ohio? Turn to Howard Hanna Real Estate Services and the McNerlin Network team. We offer a full range of services including mortgages, insurance, and title services to ensure a smooth process. Our new Buy Borrow Bundle program can save buyers up to $10,000 at closing and attract more buyers when selling. Ready to get started? Call 740-702-6000 or text 614-607-8201 for a free consultation. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, where your home happens here.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy.
Home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end. Your Erie agent is McFadden Insurance. Get a quote today by calling 753-1905. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Need new tires? Rick's Tire and Auto has you covered. Looking for top-notch auto service? Rick's Tire and Auto has expertise. And now they're bringing their A-game to Athens County. Owned by Rick Dieter, formerly of Huddle Tire in Athens. Rick's Tire and Auto Service is located at 1353 East Canal Street in Nelsonville. Right off the first Nelsonville exit on 33 West. Stop in for a quick tire change or oil change or schedule an appointment by calling 220-218-4169. At Rick's Tire and Auto, we have your vehicle covered.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides a direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained crisis counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone in crisis. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988. Brought to you by the Suicide Prevention Coalitions of Athens, Gallia, Jackson, Meigs, and Pike counties.
Back in the studios, Football Friday Night presented by General Mills. Ethan Sargent, Eric, and Bub Landrum. Eric's been putting out fires like he usually is on these Friday
Chicken
nights.
with his head cut off. He's got the energy for it.
He is doing what he does, and obviously Eric always doing what he needs to do. We appreciate it. But let's go down to Region 19 now. We're running out of time, actually. We only got about 13 minutes left on the show. But let's go to Region 19, see how much updated it is. I think we're close. Oh no, this is nearly fully updated. Or no, it is, because Harvest Prep has a gap week. So they don't drop very far. They only drop down to second. And guess who jumps right back up into 2 after losing last week? Fairland right back up into second spot. Their only loss being Ironton. Can't really complain if you're the Dragons. Right back up into second place. Columbus Academy at 9-0 and Barnesville at 9-0. Man, Barnesville might not get a second home game at 9-0. Or a 10-0 potential.
And they have just been demolishing
it is a top,
opponents.
This is another really, really good region. This is another one where Wellston, with the loss tonight, really hurts them. They might miss the playoffs, even winning next week at 6-4. And that hurts. That's tough.
This feels like the region where it's very important if you're a top 4 team to get the second or the third spot so you avoid Ironton until week 3.
Yeah, you do not want, again, you don't
want to go to Tank Stadium.
No one wants to see Ironton. That's just kind of how it is. We do have some seeding updates here in this one. Barnesville does have a shot at the double home. I think that they're maybe betting on Harvest Prep may be falling or something. I think they're saying Columbus Academy has the least amount of chance, just because Columbus Academy, they're probably going to finish 10-0. They have not played a particularly strong schedule. Their best win on the year is probably either tonight against Buckeye Valley or back in week 1 against Cincinnati Hills Christian. Next week, they're going to be tested. Bishop Reedy on the road. That is a good game. That is a big game for Columbus Academy at 9-0. They could potentially, if they can find a way to win that game, they will feel pretty good about probably getting that double home.
Yeah,
and I think that's what the system is betting on, is them losing that game. So we'll see what happens there, and that could be a huge gift for Barnesville potentially. Looking around the rest of the region, Portsmouth is right up there. Looked like they're going to get a home game. Barnesville did clinch a home game tonight, by the way. So did Fairland. Portsmouth is going to be in the playoffs. Manic Clear Creek is going to be in the playoffs. Union Local is going to be in the playoffs. Nelsonville York is in the playoffs after tonight. So congratulations to Rusty Richards and the Buckeyes.
Big move up for them if they win next week.
They win next week, they're looking at a home game. And just because I'm looking at these numbers, looking at how tight things are, they're looking at a home game. They may have a shot at a home game without a win.
Really?
Just because I think, if I look at this, it might take, they might need some help. But let's see, because they haven't updated this. So yeah, they'd be projected 12, so they wouldn't really have much of a shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they win both, yeah, they would probably get a home. They would be projected as the 6 if they were to win this one. So yeah, Region 19, lots to play for still. And then I'm looking at teams next week like Colgrove. Colgrove's going to need to win next week. They control their own destiny still. Zane Trace controls their own destiny. And then the Berg have still not clinched. They do play Portsmouth West next week. So again, Berg playing a dangerous game with that schedule. They have not clinched yet. And again, they probably, even a loss, they probably still get in. But you're playing with fire if you Willersburg. But again, they're 13 right now. They'd be matched up against Columbus Academy. And let me tell you, I might take Berg in that game. I think I would favor Berg in that game against Columbus
even
Academy.
with the tough schedule at the start of the season for Berg, you can still see that this team is well improved through the last few weeks. I think the Jackson game for Berg is a game that really helped them kind of figure out what kind of team they are. Even though they fell in the matchup, I think it was a good litmus test to see what kind of standard they are.
No, and I think you're right. I think that's going to be, look, Berg has tested themselves against the best of the best in our area. They played Ironton. They played Prep. They played Prep real close, right? That's still a dangerous team.
Absolutely.
I don't care if they lose next week 5-5. If they're in the playoffs, you don't want to see them. Imagine they get to 16 at 5-5. They play Ironton in the first week.
Gosh.
Imagine the scenes. Imagine it would just be so crazy.
And we've seen that rivalry just flip in the playoffs time and time again, right?
It has,
So,
yeah.
I mean, you can throw the records out of the bush. You can throw whatever. The one thing is Ironton still has Sean Terry, though.
Yeah, that might be the difference right there, is how talented that man is.
Can't just throw him out.
No, you can't. Well, Waterford did clinch a playoff spot today in Region 23 as we go down the regions. Grandview Heights clinched top 4 tonight with that win, as well as Northmore. Northmore is a wagon, by the way. Keep an eye on that team in Region 23. We've seen them before. I've actually seen them play a few times in the playoffs against some of our teams in our area. Always a good program. But they're the 1 seed right now. So Waterford, Fort Fry, Ridgewood, Grove City Christian, Fairbanks, Newcomerstown, Colonel Crawford, Monroe Central, Eastern clinched a playoff spot today, Centerburg and Mechanicsburg. All those teams that I just listed are playoff teams. They will be playing in the region. Now, Caldwell have still not made it because Caldwell lost tonight. They lost to, let's find out, Toronto, a team in Region 21. Not too familiar with them, but they did lose 21-28. So now they got to beat Shenandoah next week, and they would be expected to. And that's, again, not a team you want to see. Probably not going to play at home, Caldwell, but that's a team that could give, for example, Fort Fry, a team that they beat earlier in the year, a tough time in round 1. Buckeye Trail also controls their own destiny, and then you've kind of got a mess for that 16 spot. You've got Bishop Rosecrans, Elgin, Shenandoah, and even West Jeff and Winford are still alive. Mount Gilead even has an outside chance. So plenty of teams still alive in that region. Who do you like? This one's another wide open region. Who do you like?
I was surprised to see West Jeff still struggling to find their way in. I know they took a tough loss to Paint Valley, but they got their season a little turned around. So I really was hoping, or not hoping, but I was really looking to see them kind of find their way into that region. But Waterford already clinching and beating Trimble in the manner that they did. I know it was only an 8-point victory, but they stopped the running game for Trimble, and that's going to be big for Waterford going into these playoffs.
Yeah, dead right. And I think that is going to be key. Let us take one more quick break. When we come back, lots more. We'll give our closing thoughts on what was a fun night of football in the area. You're listening to Football Friday Night.
Are you craving mouth-watering, finger-licking barbecue that'll have you coming back for more? Look no further than Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, where real wood and real flavor rules supreme. Sink your teeth into our signature smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and juicy brisket, all slow-cooked to perfection with our secret blend of spices. And don't forget our delectable sides. From creamy mac and cheese to tangy coleslaw, there's something to satisfy every craving. Come visit us at our location in the Plains or online. Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, real wood, real flavor.
Are you age 55 plus and ready to make a difference in your community? COAD's AmeriCorps Senior Retired Senior Volunteer Program allows seniors age 55 and up who pass a background check to help with community-based services such as veteran services, disaster relief, and environmental care through local nonprofits. If this interests you, please contact Danielle Woodyard at 740-286-4918 or email dwoodyard@coadinc.org. COAD, the Corporation for Ohio Appalachian Development, is here to help you and the community.
Are you tired of dealing with malfunctioning garage doors? Look no further than True Track Garage Doors in Londonderry. Our team of experienced technicians specialize in garage door repairs, installation, and maintenance services. Whether you need a simple repair or a brand new garage door installation, we've got you covered. At True Track Garage Doors, we prioritize customer satisfaction and ensure that your garage door is functioning properly and safely. Contact us today at 740-596-1000 to schedule an appointment or request a free estimate. Call True Track to get you back on track.
For 190 years, Austin Powder Company has been the name you can trust in the mining industry. Our legacy is built on safety, customer care, and a great workplace. From the first blast to the final haul, we've been there every step of the way. Ready to be part of our tradition of excellence? The Red Diamond Austin Powder plant in MacArthur is now hiring. Visit austinpowder.com or call 596-7940 to apply today and start your journey with a global leader in the industry. Why not come work for an exciting company offering great benefits, challenging opportunities, and with colleagues that feel like family? Austin Powder Company, improving the world we live in through safe and responsible use of explosives.
Everyone knows Nick Station is home to Footlong Fridays. But did you also know that it's home to the best burgers and milkshakes in town? Bring your kids for a soft serve ice cream treat or have some quality time with family and friends with a delicious lunch or dinner at Nick's. Nick's Station is located at 1111 Chestnut Street in Nelsonville and open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Come on down to Nick's Station in Nelsonville, home to Footlong Fridays and fresh, delicious food and ice cream treats, served up quickly with a smile.
The General Mills Company of Wellston, manufacturers of great items like Totino's Pizza and Totino's Pizza Rolls, are proud to be a part of the Southern Ohio community. The General Mills Company, just like its hard-working employees in Southern Ohio, are proud supporters of our area youth. The General Mills Company wishes good luck to all area high school teams this season. A message from your friends at General Mills Company in Wellston.
Real quick for our last segment here on Football Friday Night. Going to really quickly swing towards Region 27. Real quick, take a look at this region. Eastern feeling pretty good with the 1 seed right now at 9-0. Danville right behind them in terms of those playoff points. Miller look pretty good. They've already guaranteed a home game in the playoffs, and they could potentially secure a double home next week. Trimble fall out of that. They have secured a playoff spot, but they are in 5th as of right now. South Gallia also secured a playoff spot tonight despite the loss. And then Notre Dame with the win tonight. Shadyside, Southern, and Fisher Catholic all control their own destiny in terms of making the playoffs. And then again, a lot to be played for next week. You've got a 1-8 Newark Catholic squad. I didn't realize Newark Catholic won tonight. They beat Lakewood 48-14. They are still alive. I mean, they have to be an 8-1 Johnstown squad, but they're still alive.
There's a chance.
There is absolutely a chance, and that's not a team. They're a traditional powerhouse. Those of you from the past will know that Newark Catholic is not a team to be trifled with in the playoffs. The last couple of years have been down, but that's a good football team when they get it on. Fairfield Christian Academy making the playoffs will be fun. That's a fun team. We watched them play a couple times this year. That would be interesting to see how they run their offense in the playoffs. Real quick, we'll take a quick look ahead towards next week. The big one, Athens-Nelsonville York, is a huge game. The big rivalry between Vinton County and Wellston. Just looking down the slate real quick. Wheelersburg P. West, probably the biggest game on the slate. Ironton-Portsmouth, a classic rivalry. Been playing that game since the early 1900s. And then the TSL round robin. Really, we have no idea what's going to happen there. Could go to anybody.
I want to really point out a game that might not have conference winner implications, but it has conference positioning for for the 3 spot in the OVC. That Rock Hill against Colgrove game next week, that's going to tell me a lot about those two teams, because I feel like the jury is still out because both of those teams struggled against the top 2 teams in Portsmouth and Fairland in that conference.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's going to just about wrap it up for tonight on Football Friday Night. Another great night of high school football in and around our area. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next week, where we're going to have probably our biggest show of the year on Football Friday Night, where we'll break down all the playoff matchups and what to look forward to next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. This was Football Friday Night for Eric and Bub Landrum. I've been Ethan Sargent. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.
This has been General Mills Football Friday Night. It was brought to you by Adventure Pro Outdoors, Coad, General Mills, Higgins Steel Roofing, Holzer, Jackson County Health Department Search Program, Necco Forest Care, Red Wolf Inn, Rocky Boots, Suicide Prevention, and brought to you locally by Austin Powder, Mammy's Country Kitchen, McFadden Insurance, Nick Station, Rick's Tire and Auto, Pig Iron Smokehouse Barbecue and Grill, and Rogers Plumbing and more.
Rockin' Southeast Ohio. From the home of the Bobcats in Athens to the beautiful Hocking Hills and all the way to the Ohio River. This is Pure Rock 105 WXTQ Athens, USA. A total media station.